Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with Deadpool, The Circle Chase, #1. This was Deadpool's first solo series. I can't remember what issue of X-Force this follows up, but it's the one where Black Tom Cassie, I believe, gets shot in the head by Cable. And then this miniseries came out. And this is the Deadpool I remember. Not the Deadpool eating chimichangas while riding a unicycle with a unicorn and shooting sparkles and talking about, My Little Pony or whatever. No, this is the Deadpool that I miss. So let's jump into it, and I shall explain. The print date on round 1 of The Circle Chase was August of 1993, and we're in Yugoslavia. What's happened here is Deadpool, when we first met him in New Mutants 98, he worked for a person called Tolliver. And I believe he got killed by Cable. I'm not sure what issue that was. If you all know, let me know so I can get my facts straight a little bit. But as you can see here in the artwork how Deadpool is stalking these other mercs. What happened is when Tolliver died, there's this will that no one's seen yet, but it essentially is saying that whoever's the top dog gets everything that was mine. So all these other mercs are trying to take each other out. Deadpool's doing it because it's Deadpool. And this splash page just really showcases the merc with the mouth and how he just does not care. This is called Junks in a Row. This is Marvel's Merc with a Mouth and his first solo adventure, brought to you by Fabian Nikizia and Joe Maduria. Mark Farmer inker, Chris Ianopoulos was the letterer, Glynis Oliver colorist, Suzanne Gaffney was the editor, Bob Harris group editor, and Tom DeFalco was Duck L'Orange. Again, one of those things that just makes me smile and kind of brings the fans in on the joke. Deadpool was created by Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nikizia. Now, modern day Deadpool, he would just be like, oh, ha ha ha, random joke, LOL, so random. And it feels goofy. Now, yes, Deadpool has always spewed pop culture, but it was always in a more violent fashion, as you can see here. And just listen to the way he talks to these guys. He reminds me of like an evil Spider-Man. Because they're saying, Deadpool, and then, comic code, you can't cuss, so no Shinola Sherlock. You Phoebes think you can S&D me? Set yourselves up, grunts. You're about to fall like... I'm going to turn the page from this awesome splash page. Okay, and then we're going to go here. He says, what kind of Greek maneuver is this? I've seen tougher G.I. Joes than you. I mean, before they got their sissy lifelike hair fuzz and kung fu grip crud, and also before they didn't get shrunk down. The poor dude. I'm talking original plastic hair, fatigue wearing, scar on the face, 10-inch tall tough guy G.I. Joe. Come to think of it, I've seen tougher Ken dolls than you, and I mean take your pick here: mod hair Ken, disco Ken, summer fun Ken. I let Barbie whip me because I'm a wuss Ken. And you guys listening to me? So it's just, he just goes on and on like Spider-Man does. But as you can see, he's the violence in what he's doing. And then here, we're introduced to Weasel. And as you can see, he's a complete 180 of how he looks in the movies. And he's like, who did you think this was? I don't know. It's like, how many people actually visit you? My mom visited me. And so I'm not 100% sure here from reading just this issue alone if Weasel's kind of like the weapons guy. I'm going to have to read a little bit more to get into his, who he exactly is. But they begin to talk about Tolliver's will. And Deadpool don't care. He's just reading Playboy, whatever. He's like, let me get this straight. Tolliver got killed by Cable, right? As far as we know. And he left his entire estate, property, weapons, and all up for grabs. Stop the presses. On a roll, Weez. Big brain you are like that. Little punk on those punk on those Cyclopedia commercials. Now, for those of you that may be the younger generation, back in the day, they used to always have like, I'm sure they still have them on cable. I don't have cable anymore, but they'd be like, oh, to buy this set, for $19.99 or whatever, please call this number. We have operators standing by. Well, they'd have that, but the commercial was this kind of nerdy-looking kid who was like a blonde, kind of geeky version of Weasel, would always try to sell the site Encyclopedia Britannica, and those things went on forever, as far back as I can remember. Now, Deadpool's here because he says, just so's we're clear, I came here for a reason, Weez. I want to know what the buzz might be on Vanessa. Now, for those of you from the movies, you're thinking of his girlfriend. Vanessa here was the Chameleon, I think was her code name. She was the one that was imitating Domino for the longest time. She goes, she up and disappeared after her friend Tina got iced, which I don't know if we've gone over X-Force 22. I'm going to have to go back and check. They said, not like I care for that shapeshifter or anything. I'm worried is all. Rough times, They're about to get rougher. And enter Kane. I kind of wish that they would do more with this character, because he was kind of, I didn't like him when they first introduced him back in the day, but now that I'm going back and kind of have that like rose-tinted nostalgia glasses, and just, I'm a big sucker for Fabian Nicieza writing. He knows how to write some X-Men. And I always thought Kane was a very interesting person, and just the artwork too. I mean, I know it's supposed to be big and beefy like the 90s, but still, it showed the hyper, what's the word I'm looking at? Hyper expressionism? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically overly strong men, women, because it's comics and these are heroes, so of course they're going to have a very physical physique, as you see here. Now, while that's happening, as I said, the last issue that Deadpool and Juggernaut were in, Black Tom essentially got shot in the face by Cable. And since then, he's disappeared. Juggernaut's looking for him. And there's something we'll get into that with them here in a second. And then there's this other character. Nico is his name. And to me, he looks like an older, uglier version of Wolverine. But as you can see, he's kind of a weapons master. And his brother was the right-hand man of Tolliver, so people are gunning for him. And he's like, jump on this and chew, you mercy life lowlifes, mercy mercenary lowlifes. Not enough coffee today, folks. It's like, I see you chowderheads more than once. Just because my poor dearly departed brother Pico was Tolliver's right-hand man, don't mean I know squat about this stupid Tolliver will. And so they have some stuff leading up with him that I don't want to get into here. What I enjoyed is while I'm reading this, they give some really good information, or some good storytelling along the way, but just the action of seeing these two go at one another. And here you learn that they kind of hate each other, but they were both victims of Weapon X, and they both kind of became what they are. Kane is also looking for Vanessa. Deadpool thinks that he wants to kill her, so I think there's some miscommunication there. And while this is going on, where is that? Hold on, there's a scene with Weasel that I think I missed. Hold on a second. So while they're both talking crap to each other, I like how Weasel cowers and he goes, they're idiots. Both of them. Total idiots. And so Weasel finally breaks up the fight. He's like, guys, what? Do you guys realize that neither one of you has the information that you're fighting over? Info. Wait, didn't you say you wanted to kill Vanessa? No, you idiot, I said I wanted to find her. Well, guess what, Gar baby? I don't know where she is either. And so an uneasy alliance forms between these two. And even Gar admits, he goes, sorry, I have a history with the chump. Fine. Get me out of this asylum. And he talks about how when Wade comes along, he gets kind of that rage, and he kind of gets a little stupid, and common sense escapes him. Now we're also reintroduced. I'm not sure who Slayback is. For those of you that know where he was before this, because they say Slayback is alive again, let me know down in the comments. I'm not 100% sure who Slayback is. Now the last thing I do want to kind of show but not try to spoil too much is we do get to see Black Tom Cassidy And yeah, why is he like this? I recommend reading the comic. And it's just horrific the way he looks. I had to show you guys. The artwork is absolutely stunning, but very hard to look at. And guys, these 90s comics, I know back in the day, the market got oversaturated. You know, the comic book market bottomed out. But compared to a lot of modern comic writers, you go back and you read this stuff and you see how hard they were trying to make things a hit, especially the X books, because X-Force #1 sold off the charts. Jim Lee's X-Men #1, I believe, is still like the top rated selling comic book ever. I think it like 1 million copies or something like that. So people were always trying to keep that up, and I think at a point they lost sight. But still, nonetheless, in the earlier days, like here in '93, excellent storytelling, excellent artwork, great action. And you could tell that people were having fun in what they were doing and that they cared. And that was the most important thing. And it shows in Deadpool. I've actually met Fabian Nicieza, and that guy is a hoot. Me and him had a great time talking with one another and just shooting the breeze. It was a really fun time. I'm glad I got to meet him and got some of my books signed. So in a way, I may be biased, but nonetheless, he's cool with the fans, wrote some great comics, so I'm cool to just pick these up and read them and enjoy them. If you have enjoyed this miniseries, I think it's 4 parts, is getting harder and harder to find. So first and foremost, support your local comic shop and see if they have any of them in singles, or thankfully my comic shop had all 4 of them bundled together and I got a good deal for them. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Merc bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.